What is up, everybody? As I am just going live, France have been knocked out of the Euros on penalties against Switzerland. Kylian Mbappe with the penalty miss that cost France after what looked like an almost perfect shootout. 9 scored penalties. Mbappe steps up, number 10, all the pressure on him. Perfect height for Sommer, and he saves it, and France are gone. Just like that, France are gone. And you know what? You got to give massive credit to the Swiss, because they refused to let their heads drop. They went 3-1 down and they just came back into the game. Oh my days. Has there been a better day of international football, ladies and gentlemen? If there has, I don't know about it. That has been just the best 2 back-to-back games of football I can remember. Madness. Absolute madness. Oh my days. And that's before we even get into the Liverpool stuff. Oh, what a game. What a set of games. France 5, Croatia 3, and then that. Wow. We have been spoiled today, my friends. That has been nuts. Mbappe, he never looked like he wanted to score. He never looked like he was going to score when he stepped up. The commentary team on RTE here in Ireland were spot on. Stephen said he doesn't fancy him to step up. Wow. That is just mental. Absolutely mental. Switzerland are through, and you know what? Who can begrudge them? Who can begrudge them? Because they did not let their heads drop and they kept going even when they went 3-1 down. So fair play to them, because today has just been mad. We were spoiled as football fans, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely spoiled. Pampy said Coman had a good game. He did. He had a bit of an argument with Deschamps about whether he should come off or not after he pulled up. Eventually Deschamps took him off. But yes, Coman looked absolutely fantastic again for France. And yeah, look, it wasn't Kylian Mbappe's tournament, was it? I know, look, a lot of us are going to think we'd still have him. Damn right, we'd still have him. But yeah, look, there's something in his head, because he wasn't right for this entire tournament. Missed a couple of opportunities. But yeah, there we go. Biggest shock of the Euros so far. The defending world champions are out. We've seen the defending Euros champions, Portugal, knocked out by Belgium the night before. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The tournament has opened up yet again. Any England fans watching tomorrow, if you get through Germany, looking at the draws it's opening up, looking at the that France are out, you got to think that, who's going to win this? Who's going to win it? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Italy are looking good too, said Darkest. They didn't look great the other night, but yes, they looked very efficient overall. How was Shaqiri's performance? He played okay, but, and I never thought I'd utter these words out loud, ladies and gentlemen, Xhaka had a great game. Xhaka had a great game for Switzerland. That through ball that he played as well for the equaliser, I mean, just nuts. Nuts. Tom Morgan reckons Belgium will win the Euros. Well, they've got to deliver eventually, don't they? I mean, they have all the tools there to do it. You know, the questions are going to be around, will Kevin De Bruyne and will Eden Hazard be available? Both of them went off injured, but I tell you what, we're being spoiled. What a tournament we're having here at the Euros, ladies and gentlemen. And look, I will be live tomorrow for the England game against Germany, starting at 4:30 here on Anfield Agenda. And then I'll be on That's Football doing the Ukraine-Sweden game tomorrow night with Mark Olbridge. So, yeah, keep it tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Lots and lots of stuff to talk about. I was 100% certain France would win it at RSH14. I don't think you were alone, mate. I think most of us thought that France were going to win the Euros. Jacques is so much better for Switzerland than at Arsenal, said Tom. He is. He absolutely is. And you know, there are some players that are like that at international level. They really do step up their game, but you just got to just give a nod of appreciation to Switzerland for never giving up, for just fighting. And even when they went 3-1 down, even when Pogba sticks one in top corner and France looked like that they were clicking, Switzerland didn't let their heads drop. And that's just beautiful. You got to give full credit. They absolutely earned that. They earned it. Fair play to them. Madness. Anyway, loads to get through, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely loads to get through. We'll talk about Otavio, which is the first name that I want to really bring up tonight, but I'm going to wait for the chat to fill up a little bit. As Brian said, what a game. Mate, we've been spoiled today just in general, haven't we? 2 back-to-back amazing games. What have we had? 14 goals in the 2 games as well. And then a penalty shootout just to top it all off and knock out the world champions. Not too bad of a day. Paul, even there's a fly even down here now. He's bragging. So a little fly on the desk here, giving a Billy Big fly. Shaqiri goes through. Yes, Shaqiri does go through, Pampy. There you go. Bernadette said the tournament has had a few shockers. It has. But that's what makes it great. A few shocks makes it great. You know, we'd all love the likes of a Denmark or somebody to come through and win it, wouldn't we? But you got to say, Switzerland, just so good. Their passing, so incisive. Their intensity, top notch. It's madness. And look, what are we now? 10 minutes into this stream and we've barely spoken about Liverpool yet. But we will get there, don't worry, we've a lot to get through. What have we got? Mbappe wants LFC to afford him. There you go. That's what he's done it on purpose, because he wants to come and he wants it to be cheap. Shaqiri to lift the Euros. I can't make any predictions anymore, mate. I give up trying to make them. Every time I think I know what's up, well, then something happens. United extra said, give credit to Switzerland. All talking now, it's a game of football, mate, football. Get over it. Nah, look, give credit to them and let them have their moment, mate. Let's just appreciate it. It was a great day of football all around. It's coming home, said my nan's got bunion. I love this game, said Keane Hastings. I'm in awe of today's football. Just mad. That's international football at its best. But look, let's get into the Liverpool talk, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a few bits and pieces to get through. And let's start off by having a conversation around this gentleman here. A lot of people won't know who he is. Well, his name is Otavio. And he's a 26-year-old midfielder that plays for Porto. He is Brazilian. And his name has been bandied around a little bit over the past day or two with regards to links to Liverpool, maybe even a bit longer. And you know what? I was dismissive at first, but the more and more that this story begins to unfold, I think we'll have our answer in the next day or two, because he has a release clause in his contract of, let me just get this right, £34 million or €40 million, but that release clause would have to be triggered before July 1st, which is Thursday, I believe, July 1st. So if Liverpool are going to go in for Otavio, I would expect maybe something to happen over the coming 24, 48 hours, unless they feel like that they still have a little bit of room to negotiate there with Porto because of their interest in Marco Grujic. But, this is one to keep an eye on, and let's see if anything does happen, because common sense would say, okay, release clause expires and the price will go up on July the 1st, so will Liverpool trigger it, or will they, go to the table and say, look, you want Grujic, maybe we want this guy, let's see if we can strike a deal. I don't know, but it will be something that may become a bit more apparent over the next day or two. I can't lie to you and say I know a lot about this guy. I know from basically the article that I read that he's had, 5 goals and 12 assists and 42 appearances this season for Porto. The article claiming about Liverpool's interest comes from Portugal as well, but it's been mentioned across a few sites today. And his release clause goes up to £51 million on July the 1st, so there you go. I don't know too much about him. I said Mbappe would miss because he looked too confident, said Lou. He didn't look at all confident, mate. He didn't look at all confident when he stepped up. Is he a winger? No, he's more of a 10 from what I'm led to believe. He's a creative midfielder, an attacking midfielder. And look, I don't know too much about the guy. I won't lie to you, but I want your input on this one. Anybody who might have more insight into Otavio. Any links to Porto can be made more realistic, as I said, because they really want Marco Grujic. We thought that Oliveira was the midfielder that they were going to move on to free up the money for Grujic, which made sense as well. But yeah, look, let's keep an eye on it. What have we got? All the people who watch Love Island over that. Yeah, imagine that. It could never be me. Never be me. Football before everything. Just me who Origi is 10 times the player Mbappe is. Yes, it is just you, mate. It absolutely is just you that thinks Origi is 10 times the player Mbappe is. But, if only you were PSG, mate, and if only we could sell him to you. What have we got? I want Sterling back, said Sonny Lil. Coleman news. Relax there, mate. Relax. Don't shit the bed. Relax. We'll get to Kingsley Coleman in a few minutes. All good. Looks good and he can play on the wing, said Jamie Sloan with regards to Otavio. As I said, look, this in theory should be fairly straightforward. If we want them, well, the clock's ticking, or else we just try and pay less than the release clause. But usually with Porto, you got to pay the full whack basically. So we'll know soon enough if Liverpool declare their interest. If it ramps up over the coming day or two, keep an eye on the Fabrizio Romanos, the James Pearce, all the usual suspects around Liverpool transfers. But yeah, look, let's move on from Otavio and we will get to Kingsley Coman, who is the next one that you guys want to talk about. Look, Kingsley Coman, what do we know about the situation? Well, Bayern Munich would like Kingsley Coman to stay. But again, the article that I spoke about yesterday, or the tweet that I spoke about yesterday, seems to suggest that the push for him to maybe come to England or to Liverpool is more from his father. So let's keep an eye on this situation with Kingsley Coman. Bayern Munich won't want to lose him, obviously. He does have a bit of a sketchy injury record because of that lightning pace that he has. And you can see tonight there for France that he picked up a knock as well that ended up him being forced off for the end of the game, and they brought on Thuram to take his place for the last 20 minutes or so of extra time, or 15 minutes, whatever it was. So look, I don't know about the Coleman stuff. I mean, on the surface, it looks like a really good option. And, you know, if he stayed fit, brilliant. It could be an absolute bargain, and more pace the merrier for Liverpool as far as I'm concerned. But I just wonder, if it's his father pushing for it, does he really want to move? I mean, because we want players who really want to be at Liverpool, let's be honest about it. And look, he's a good player, Kingsley Coman. None of us would turn our nose up at him. Do I think Coman will be another Naby? That's the worry, Sonny, isn't it? And thank you for the super chat, first one of the night. That is the worry, isn't it? That if he does come in, we could have another Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, another Naby Keita on our hands, or you could have an absolute bargain. So again, I don't know what the truth is about this. I don't know how sincere Liverpool's interest is. The journalist that we spoke about yesterday seemed to believe that the interest in Coman from Liverpool was legit. No offer has been received yet by Bayern Munich that I've been aware of. But Coman and France are now out of the Euro, so I guess his future will become a bit clearer over the coming week or two. You know, he'll have a holiday, obviously, get over all that stuff. But, you know, I'm sure his agent will be on the blower now trying to ramp up moves from... This little fly's really annoying me, by the way. Coleman is 42 million, just pay it, it's a bargain. I suppose the real worry there, DWM Kenzie, mate, is just around the injury record, because with that explosive pace of his, you know, he will pick up a lot of hamstrings, a lot of stuff like that, and he has a bit of a, I don't want to say sketchy record, but he's missed quite a bit of football. So on the surface, I'd have Kingsley Coman. I would. I mean, world-class footballer. Part of a World Cup winning France team, a team that's done really well, won the Champions League with Bayern Munich, not this season, the season before obviously, and look, a fine footballer. And, you know, if the club look into his medical records and they believe that it's worth a punt, so be it. But I don't think any of us want another player that we get in, get all excited about, and then maybe have to suffer through little periods of inconsistency or injury, particularly at times when we need them the most. So, I mean, treat this one with kid gloves. That's kind of what I'm saying at this moment in time. Aaron Lennon type player. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously we don't want to talk too ill of Aaron Lennon. He did have mental health issues. So, you know, we kind of got to... That's not really a fair comparison, if I'm being fair to Aaron Lennon. Base from today, I'm not interested in him, said Rodders. Interested in Coman. Coman's a very good player, mate. I mean... He's stop-start. He's kind of like Sadio Mane in that he can stop and start and go from a standing position really quickly, and he'd be a great option tearing down that left-hand side for us. But the big story of the day has to be around a completely different gentleman. So let me just swap this up and bring up this lad, Kylian Mbappe. So we will know, I think, over the coming week or two what is going to happen with Kylian Mbappe's future. And look, the reason I'm bringing him up isn't because I'm convinced Liverpool are going to sign him. No, it's because of my other worry, that Kylian Mbappe and Salah's future could be linked together. And if PSG lose Kylian Mbappe, wherever he may go, I've got a feeling that they're going to come for Mohamed Salah. And I've got a feeling that Mohamed Salah might feel a little bit annoyed right now, because Liverpool haven't opened contract negotiations with him over a new deal, which they absolutely should have done. And then you get to the point that idiot Stuart Pearce has been making, saying that Liverpool should be letting Mohamed Salah go to the Olympics, and Stuart Pearce spoke about what a great experience it was for the Great Britain team. Fair enough, Mr. Pearce, but it wasn't during a global pandemic, pal. Right now, there's a global pandemic on. Well, the pandemic is global. There's a pandemic, and we don't want their players going. We've already had Salah and a couple of others pick up COVID, so no thank you, Mr. Pearce. Shut your fucking gob. And he had a shocking Euros, John, he did. But you wonder, now Harry Kane's not having a great Euros, and Mbappe not had a great Euros, but you wonder, is it because transfer stuff is playing on their mind? Is their head elsewhere? I think I'm really scared about the Mohamed Salah situation, folks. I really, really am. The longer this drags on, the longer we don't sit down at the table to start the negotiations for a new deal with them, the more worried I become. And if they lose Mbappe, I'm telling you now, they're going to come for Mohamed Salah. And they're going to come, and we know that they're going to come with a truckload of cash. So I'm worried. I don't think we'll sign Mbappe. I really don't. But I do think his future and Salah's future are tied together, whether we like it or not. You know, I hope we go into this summer and the first thing that we were going to hear was Liverpool very grateful to Mohamed Salah for another cracking season, help fire us into the Champions League places again, and let's reward him with a new contract. But no, nothing. All quiet on that front. Whereas we know for a fact that the club want to talk with Alisson, the club want to talk with Fabinho, the club want to talk with Virgil van Dijk, and rightly so. They all deserve new deals. But the silence over Salah, there's something up. There has to be something up. Something just doesn't smell right in this situation to me. And if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's most likely a duck. So yeah, I'm a bit worried. I've got to admit, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a bit worried, and I don't think it's because we think we're going to get Mbappe. I don't think that that's what this is about. Unless John W. Henry has suddenly become a new human being overnight from the owner that we've had at the club that, you know, has capped their wages at about 200 grand maximum earner basic salary, which is Mohamed Salah. So yeah, it's is anybody else worried about this, or am I just overreacting? Because I am an emotional dude. I do understand that I overreact at times, but to me, I think it's very disrespectful to Mo, and you know, I can only imagine the backlash if we lose Mohamed Salah and we don't go out there and, well, there isn't anyone. Like, if we're being realistic, outside of Mbappe, who we all, I think, agree we can't afford his wages, there isn't really anybody else right now that we could bring in and replace Mohamed Salah. Where are we going to get 25, 30, 35 goals a season from? I'm baffled. I'm baffled and I'm worried, and I hope to God I wake up tomorrow morning and I hear that Liverpool and Salah have started talking, because that's all I want to hear. And with the Olympic stuff as well, and him seemingly wanting to push to go to the Olympics, it really does just make me worried, and I don't like being worried around players that we should be tying down, players that seemingly are happy at the club. You've seen what it meant to Mohamed Salah when he scored against United, and when Alisson scored that goal as well. It's filling us full of nerves. I don't think that we need, if I'm being quite frank about it. Andre Silva, look, he's at Frankfurt, good player, knocked out of the Euros of Portugal, but I've not seen any links for Liverpool to Andre Silva, mate. I really haven't. But then again, we didn't see any to Fabinho either before that happened, or Diogo Jota before that happened. How much would Mbappe be looking in wages? Mate, your guess is as good as mine, but I would say to guess somewhere north of 400 grand a week probably wouldn't be too far off. And we don't pay anybody that. You know, Mohamed Salah is, to my knowledge, our highest paid footballer, and I think his basic salary is about 200 grand a week plus bonuses. So yeah, I'm extremely worried about it. Again, people are asking about Malen and stuff. Again, great option. Somebody who was a little bit disappointing with the Netherlands. You know, probably should have taken the opportunity he had. But on Daniel Malen, it is also important to remember that Dortmund are looking at that guy as well. And Dortmund usually don't get the transfer business too far wrong, do they? So I'm sure that Liverpool's transfer business will really kick into action over the coming weeks. But the longer it drags on without another signing after, of course, we signed Canada, who I think most of us are happy with, it just builds up like there's going to be a backlash. To me, this is building up again, that the fan base is just going to have an absolutely huge backlash. If we even get a whiff of an interest in Mohamed Salah from elsewhere, I don't know. I'm just really worried, ladies and gentlemen. I really am. We will talk about Renato Sanchez as well, folks. Don't worry. Somebody who's had a very good season with Lille, somebody who's had a good European Championships, albeit they're out with Portugal, and somebody who, you know, does look like a Klopp type of signing, if I'm being honest with you. But, you know, again, it's a guessing game right now. So yesterday we were sitting here and we were talking about the midfield options most likely being Neuhaus, Basuma, who was the other guy that we were speaking about? Neuhaus, Basuma. Who were the other midfielders that we were talking about? God, I'm drawing a blank because I'm talking so quickly. Neuhaus, Basuma. Help me out in the chat here. Neuhaus, Basuma. Who were the other two midfielders that we were talking about yesterday? News on Coman. Again, there isn't really anything that we haven't gone back over. Gravenberch, yes, Gravenberch and Renato Sanchez. Thank you for bailing me out. That's the second day in a row I've forgotten about Ryan Gravenberch. And today we can add in this Otavio guy from Porto to that list. But as I said, that will probably become a little bit more clear over the next 24, 48 hours. Because if we are going to try and pay the release clause, we won't want the new release clause to kick in, which it does on July 1st. Gravenberch, again, you can easily make a connection there as to why Liverpool would be interested in him. Excellent young midfielder. Renato Sanchez, I don't know if this is just Liverpool fans spotting a really good option or if we are genuinely interested. But we're keeping whatever we're doing really close to our chest. Really, really close. The Paul said Coco Mike, he's going to go to Atleti. 35 million euro to Atletico Madrid from everything that I've read, mate. Tielemans, again, I've never been confident that Liverpool would pay what it would take to sign Yuri Tielemans, and my belief hasn't really changed. Unless Again, we get to the scenario where we flog Mohamed Salah for 130, 150 million quid, and then we use that to rebuild. But that is a massive, massive gamble if that's the plan. And it's not a plan that'll go down well with the fan base, I can tell you that, because we've been told all along that Liverpool are no longer a selling club. Liverpool are now a club that are going to keep their established stars. Well, then sign up Mohamed Salah to a new contract and stop making us all sweat it out. Lots of love from Houston, Texas, said Matthew. How are you, Matthew? Thank you for being in the chat, mate. Another option that we have to mention as well, because this gentleman's name has been mentioned as a potential relegation buy. So, what do we know about Sander? Well, he plays for Sheffield United, and there's talk that he had a 10 million quid release clause in his contract, a relegation clause, but apparently that isn't the case. From what's been reported today, they're going to want the 35 million quid that they have him priced at. And look, I thought a 10-12 million quid definitely be worth a punt. Somebody who could come in and, give Fabinho a bit of cover, a bit of rest if necessary. Solid player, maybe, not worth 35 million in my humble opinion. But yeah, if the release clause or the relegation clause isn't in his contract, I don't really think he's somebody that Liverpool will be going in for. I mean, at the 10 or 12 million quid, I thought, yeah, definitely worth a punt. If you moved Shaqiri on as an example, I'm only talking from a financial standpoint here, that would probably free up the money to sign Berg. But if they want 35 million from, I don't think we'll be at the table with that kind of money. He's worth 20 to 25 million, said Hoyne. Look, he's a good player, Sander. I'm not knocking that, but if they really do want £35 million, which, seemingly is the clause in his contract, or at least what Sheffield United value him at, we won't be going to the table at that type of money. So, let's just wait and see. But if there is a release clause, if somebody's telling Porky Pies here, and he does have a 10 or 12 million pound release clause, then I think we should be all over it. I do, because at that type of price, it's not really even a gamble. It's just a good bit of extra squad depth in midfield. What have we got? John Dunn said Ramos has offers from City, PSG and Bayern. Good for him. As long as none of them are from Liverpool, mate, I'm happy. I think Camavinga is way better than Gravenberch. Look, Camavinga is a sensational talent, but he's also somebody who, is on the wanted list of a load of clubs. United apparently sniffing around him. We've seen Arsenal linked with Camavinga. A lot of reports say that basically Arsenal are putting all their eggs in the Camavinga basket. And I have to be wholly honest here. I've not seen one link that I would trust for Liverpool to Camavinga. Didier Deschamps I've spoken about before. He really does rate this kid highly, as does most of the people that have watched his performances with Ron in League 1. So yeah, I've not seen that until link up to Liverpool, I'll be honest about that. Kingsley Coman is a name a lot of people keep bringing up on the chat. And look, we did touch on it earlier on. What do we know about the situation? Well, we know that his father is apparently trying to push a move through to get him over to England. And look, I take him at 35, 40 million quid, but you would always be worried about his injuries because, as is with the case with a lot of pacey, fast players, he does pick up muscle strains and knocks. Owen McPartland said, I'm worried about the owners not talking to Salah. I'm fuming, man. I still haven't gotten over the Gini Wijnaldum stuff, let alone even contemplate facing up to a future without Mo. I mean, can I ask you all a question in the chat? This is extremely unlikely, of course. Extremely unlikely. But would you be happy? Now, I know a lot of people are going to be reactionary about his performance tonight for France, but if Liverpool sold Salah and got Mbappe, would you be happy? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And I'm not saying it's realistic, because I still believe it's not realistic that we'll buy Kylian Mbappe, because I don't think we'll pay what it would take for his wages. But would you guys in the chat be happy? If that was the big plan, if that was the grand scheme here from John W. Henry and FSG, to move on Mohamed Salah, who's 29 years of age, and to go out there and sign Kylian Mbappe, it's probably the only player that I would be able to swallow this. Well, that's a bit of a strange one, Craig. Probably should reword that. It's probably the only scenario that I could swallow losing Mohamed Salah in. Any other scenario, and I would be absolutely fuming. It's a bit of a mixed bag here in the chat. I think it's fair to say it's a half and half here. I'm seeing a fair few thumbs down, a few thumbs up, and a couple of people that don't know. I think he's the only one that we could perhaps get away with it with. I think you're losing a lot of goals with Mo. Guaranteeing yourself 20-25 Premier League goals a season there for Mohamed Salah. And look, we all know the Mbappe stuff's very unrealistic. I know I'm not somebody that's naive enough to think that we're gonna, go out there and lash 500 grand a week at the kid. But yeah, look, again, the chat's fairly mixed. I mean, a lot of thumbs up, a lot of thumbs down. It seems to be genuine 50-50. Haaland, I know a lot of people would love Haaland, but we're not going to sign Haaland. It will either be Chelsea or somebody else who can win from the season after. We know how much Real Madrid want both Kylian Mbappe and Haaland, but he seems to be on Abramovich's shopping list for Chelsea this summer. So we know that it will take about 150 million quid to get him out of Borussia Dortmund. We also know that he has a release clause of 75 million euro that comes in to activates next summer. So let's wait and see what happens there. Pedri news, there is none. Barcelona will want to sign Pedri up to a new deal. It's as simple as that. 1 year left on his contract, if my memory's right, and they'll want to tie him down to a new deal because Pedri is an undoubted talent. People say Pedri news like there is any. There isn't any. There's just little lads like you out there that just want Pedri to come to Liverpool when it's very unrealistic. So, yeah, there's no news. And I won't lie to you. That's the thing you'll always get from me is I'm honest. I don't lie to you. If I won't blow smoke up your arse and say he's going to come when he isn't. He's more than likely going to stay at Barcelona. Jude Bellingham, Coco Mike, that's my number one, buddy. That double choo-choo. Choo-choo! That's the one that I want. But on Jude Bellingham, there isn't a number that there's always a number, but there isn't a realistic number that gets Borussia Dortmund to do business because they're about to lose Jadon Sancho to Manchester United. They could, if somebody pays the 150 million quid, lose Erling Haaland. They're also talking about potentially selling Julian Brandt, so they're not going to want a massive clear out this summer. So yeah, I don't think that anybody will be going for Jude Bellingham this summer. But from what I've been doing some inquiries, I've been doing my digging around the Bellingham stuff. There's a lot of love from Bellingham towards Liverpool. Let's just put it that way. And I've got a feeling we could be in. We could be in for Jude Bellingham next summer, not this summer, next summer. Otavio, a lot of people are saying Griezmann fire. He's past it as far as I'm concerned, I'll be honest with you. Still don't understand why Barcelona paid that much for him. So Otavio, I'm happy to go back over the Otavio stuff for people coming in a little bit late. Right, I'm going to read the article out that was up today. So the article suggests that Jurgen Klopp has told the Liverpool Chiefs to go and sign Otavio from Porto. An article that stems from Portugal, from Ebola, claims that Liverpool have advanced forcefully to prize the playmaker away from Porto, and Klopp has informed the powers that be that he wants him. The article goes on to say the 26-year-old made a positive impact in Portugal last term, scoring 5 goals and having 12 assists in 42 appearances, and his release clause of £34 million or around €40 million expires at midnight on the 30th of June, and then it goes up to 54 million quid in July. So if we do have an interest, as I said at the start of the stream, you would imagine that the interest or the release clause will be triggered in the coming days. Unless, of course, Liverpool want to play a waiting game where they think that we can use Gruitch as some type of negotiating tool in this one. I don't know. I really don't know how strong the interest is, or if this is just more nonsense from the Portugal side, because we've been linked with 2 or 3 different Porto players at this point in time, so I honestly don't know. I don't know. And nobody knows. That's the thing. I've been saying this to you all along. You get the people on Twitter, you get the people on YouTube that lie to you. I won't ever do that. I'll never tell you any lies. I don't know what the story is. But I like Danny Olmo. I see a lot of people in the chat mentioning Olmo. I'd have Danny Olmo in a heartbeat. I said this to Mark actually on That's Football earlier on. I really, really like Danny Olmo. Opinions on Daka signing for Leicester. Very good piece of business. And I think, again, one that I'm completely baffled that we didn't go after big time, because his goal scoring record for Salzburg speaks for itself. And yes, I know that Salzburg isn't the Premier League, but Haaland did it, and then he went on to Dortmund and did it at Dortmund. And I really do think that Leicester have got themselves a very good footballer in Patson Daka. So, part of me thinks that, okay, one or two things happened there. Either we didn't want him, or we wanted him, but we couldn't guarantee him first team football, which maybe Leicester City could. But yeah, look, what we know is he's going to Leicester City, and they've got themselves a good player, in my opinion. Chiesa, I don't think we're not going to be in for Chiesa anyway. I mean, you just don't throw random names at me, because I'll be the first one to say bullshit. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want to be rude to anybody, because there's a lot of good players out there right now, but the ones that are genuinely linked to us, I don't know. Chiesa has never been a name that I've seen. And didn't he only move from Fiorentina to Juventus in the last year or so anyway? Vlahovic's name is still doing the rounds as well, by the way, the guy from Fiorentina. Podge is asking about Ismail Assar. Well, look, Watford have just come back up. But we did inquire about Ismail Assar when we bought Diogo Jota. The price we were quoted, I think, was about £50 million, and they wanted most of it up front. And I don't think their stance on any potential deal for Sarr will change, i.e. that they'd want a lot of it up front. And that's not the way we've been structuring deals lately, so I don't think that there's going to be anything for us on Sarr. Mbappe, look, we've gone through Mbappe over and over again. There are some people that seem to believe we have a genuine interest in Mbappe, but I think every club in Europe has an interest in Mbappe. It's turning that interest into a wage and a package that would appeal to Kylian Mbappe and his representatives. That's the part where we start to, it all starts to unravel from a Liverpool perspective. Would you take Hysaj as backup for Trent? Well, look, it's been made pretty clear to us in the media that if Nico Williams does in fact move on, and it looks like he is pushing for a move, and if Liverpool get 10 million, it seems that's the number that they'll do business at. It seems that Conor Bradley is the great hope. And I've been reading into Conor Bradley. There was a very good piece from Caoimhe O'Neill on The Athletic around Conor Bradley, and I urge you all to go and have a read of it. It's an excellent piece of writing. It goes into how it was known for a very long time up in Northern Ireland that this guy was an absolute talent. Always played a couple of years ahead of his age group as well, and has gone in every position from midfield to forward all the way back to right back. So Conor Bradley looks like a talent, but it's always a gamble when you make that leap. The last leap, the leap from under 18, under 21 level up to the senior team, is the toughest leap to make. But during his career, it seems that every time Conor Bradley has been asked to take a step forward, he's excelled, and he's excelled massively. So I hope we've got a very good player on our hands. And, any of the scouting reports or the reports from people that watch the academy a lot say that he's a really, really fine player. So yeah, he's already made a senior international appearance as well. The fourth youngest player, I believe. 4 or 5 days younger than George Best when he made his Northern Ireland debut. So, yeah, look, the kid looks like a talent. And the plan seems to be that if Nico does move on, that he's going to be himself and Joe Gomez are going to be the options as backup to Trent. Aaron Ramsey, we don't need another injury-prone player coming to the club, mate. So no on Aaron Ramsey. Coutinho, look, Barcelona can't get rid of this lad. They're even thinking about loaning him out now again, apparently. And my answer to you guys has always been the same thing. The dude hasn't played since January. He has not improved since he left Liverpool. He's getting older now. So for me, it'll be a massive no-no. Now, again, I want to take a second, just a second, to address the absolute scumbags that are once again hanging banners around Rafael Benitez, and this time in the vicinity of the man's home. And not only is it, of course, unsettling Rafael Benitez and his good lady wife, it's also upsetting the neighbours around there who are fearful of what might happen, because we've seen what happened up in Scotland. We've seen one of the Celtic board members' house set on fire at one point. So grow the fuck up. It's football, you absolute cretins. If you don't like Rafael Benitez and you don't want him to go to Everton, tough shit. If he goes to Everton, show the man some respect. And this is not a great look. This is not a great look when you're hanging up stuff saying we know where you live. Really? That's where we are now as football fans. That's what we're going to deem acceptable, is it? I'm sorry, it is just scumbaggery of the highest order. And Rafael Benitez has done so much good stuff with his wife for that beautiful city of Liverpool that it boils my blood to see him being put through this by a group of low-life scumbags that are not fit to lace the man's fucking shoelaces. So grow up and show him some respect. Fair enough, you might want him at your club, but I tell you what, you'd be damn lucky to have him. 2 back-to-back Champions League winners, managing Everton, and you're moaning about it. Ancelotti, and now Rafa, you're moaning about it. Because what? Because he won stuff with us? Grow up. Grow up, you absolute lowlifes. And this isn't me having a dig at Everton fans. I know some truly wonderful Everton fans. Lovely people. Salt of the earth. But whoever this group is, whoever these thugs are, they need locking up. Because that's beyond acceptable. I'm sorry. It's beyond acceptable. How much do we owe on Jota and Thiago? So Diogo Jota we signed for 9.5 million up front and the rest spread over the course of his contract. Thiago Alcantara, 25 million, 5 of it up front, and then 5 million a year for the 4 years of his Liverpool contract. But this baffles me, the whole Benitez stuff, because I know so many Scousers, and I'm sure you do as well, and they are salt of the earth. The kindest, nicest, most welcoming, loving people you'll ever meet. But it's not a great look when this type of stuff starts happening, particularly to a man who, he and his wife have done so much for the city and only love the city. So, okay, if you don't want them at your club, you've every right to voice your opinion on social media. You've every right to write a letter to the club. You've every right to be on fan forums talking about it. But to be threatening him, so you know where he lives? What? That's not right. That is not right. I'm sorry. That's not what we want. It's not what we want in football. Do I think Rafa will go to Everton with the threats he's getting? They don't deserve him. It's as simple as that. They don't deserve a man like Rafael Benitez. A man who, look, it's sad. It really is just sad. I mean, who the fuck do you think they're going to get? Do you know what I mean? Okay, you don't get Rafa. Great. Who are you going to get next? Because you've just had one of the best managers in the world in Carlo Ancelotti. A manager that we all have to just say is top notch. Did a good job and then went to Real Madrid. And now you've got the chance to have another Champions League winning manager. And you're moaning about it because what? He managed your... And I use the term rivals here very loosely, by the way, because we're not really rivals. They're just the noisy neighbours. But I don't know what to say. I'm disappointed. Because I know that it's not representative of that amazing city and the amazing blue and red people that live in it. I don't get it. And it's given a city that's already been through enough. It's given again another bad slant on it, and that's not the Scousers we know. That's not the type of people that we all know from Liverpool. Scousers are the salt of the earth. I fucking love them. They're such amazing people, but that's not a great look. It's not, and it's not what we want in the sport. Every city has scumbags, 100%. Absolutely agree. My beautiful home city of Dublin. Every city has it. You're right. I'm just saying that for the sport. You know, there's levels of stuff that's acceptable. You've every right to voice your opinion, of course you do. But you're moving in towards people's homes now. We've seen attacks on people's houses before. It's not the direction we need the sport to be going in. When we've just witnessed a day of football like we have today, where we've seen the game at its absolute finest. We've been treated to 14 goals in 2 games, and we were all in love with the sport. The best side of football, bringing people together. And then, you know, it's just not a good look is all I'm saying. And I'm not singling out one people or one city of people because, as you said, and rightly so, every city has idiots. Every city around the world has idiots. And what annoys me about it is, it's so, as I said before, it doesn't represent Scousers because Scousers are sound. Scousers, we all know they're A1 like. Did I see Pogba's goal? Yeah, it was amazing. Jensk, it was amazing. Wonderful finish. Hi Craig, there's a portion of people in Liverpool that just cause trouble. Mate, the support, every city has them. Every city in the world. We all have them. Every football club has them. Every fan base has them. Liverpool's included. I don't understand how you can be that hateful towards the opportunity to get a very good manager. And this is not me having a dig at Everton fans, because as I've said over and over again, I know loads of really nice Everton fans. I interact with some great Everton fans. I'm going to be on the Blue Boys Network talking about Rafael Benitez on Wednesday. So it's not me having a pop at Everton fans trying to score cheap brownie points. It's not, I promise you. It's just my absolute... Maybe... I just love Rafa Benitez for a start. I mean, I won't lie, I love the man. What else have we got? Wave the links on Pulisic gone quiet. I think Brooklyn, because he's kind of made it clear that he'd like to stay at Chelsea and fight for his place there. So yeah, there you go. Craig, who do you miss more, Ings or Sturridge? Well, Sturridge, because we didn't really get a chance to see the best of Danny Ings, whereas we had some amazing times with Danny Sturridge, didn't we? But, you know, 2 lads that I, like both of. Not to having a pop at Everton is bad. No, I don't like to take cheap shots. It's not my way. I'm not somebody that comes on here to try and cause beef or rows with people. That's not the type of human being that I am. And as I said, that's not representative of any Scousers that I've ever come into contact with. It's just sad. It's just sad that the man has to go through that over football. Like, anyway, we move on. Do you play FIFA? No, I don't. I want Suarez back. Unfortunately for you, Joe, he's going to stay at Atleti, mate. So yeah, he's going to stay at Atletico Madrid. Mbappe 70 million now, said Joseph. Adding interested in Saul. We've been linked to Saul from Atletico Madrid, and for more than one place. I just don't see it as being a good fit for us. Saul, he's not the... He's a good midfielder, don't get me wrong. I mean, that Atleti team, they know what they're about. They've got a sense of, they've got a character, they've got a sense of identity, and they're all hard-working players. It's just, maybe it's just one that wouldn't really excite me if Liverpool signed him. How do I feel Liverpool not getting to have a Premier League parade? It's just unfortunate, isn't it? It really is. Like, you wait all that time to win a league title, and they never really got a chance to celebrate it, unfortunately, because of the world's having the pandemic that it had. And yeah, hopefully we win it again and they get a chance to do it properly. I want Coman, please God, said Ian Donovan. Well, look, mate, the links are certainly there, and it's not my place to lie to you and say I know if they're true or not true. I don't. All I can do is talk about the articles that get put up, and that's all I ever do. What else have we got in the chat? Any chances Tammy as a replacement for Origi? Okay, this is where I'm going to need you guys to help me out. I've seen Tammy Abraham linked somewhere in recent days, and I don't know where it is, but it's not Liverpool, but it is in the Premier League. And I can't think of where it is, but I have seen his name. Is it Villa? No, he was at Villa before. Somebody help me out here. I see Tammy Abraham have been linked to somebody. News on Berge. I've already touched on it, Jody. The news that I've seen today, mate, is basically that Sander Berge apparently doesn't have the £10-12 million release or relegation clause that was initially thought, and it looks like Sheffield United want the higher end of their valuation, which is around 35 million quid, mate. West Ham, there you go. West Ham. I think West Ham is spot on, yes. Good shout, that. See, this is why I love our community. This is why I love the chat. You guys always bail me out. Who do you think Liverpool should sign as a number 9? I do like the Daniel Malin stuff. I do. I think I can see a lot of Bobby Firmino in him. And he's not the finished article. And Daniel Malin, around 25 million quid, apparently gets that deal done. So I just keep an eye on it. But yes, it was West Ham for the stuff around Tammy Abraham. Thank you, folks. Hey Craig, FSG are cheap. If they can make Coutinho money for Salah, they jump at it. That's my worry, D-man. And that's what I was saying at the very start of the stream, and that's what I've always said. When I hear that we haven't started talking to him about a new deal, I kind of get the feeling that they're either bracing themselves or maybe trying to force his hand. I don't know, but something stinks in this scenario. And for owners that have just, scored a couple of own goals and some very big ones recently, particularly around the European Super League nonsense, they better get their shit together, because if they thought the Super League stuff had a backlash, trying to get rid of another one of our top players, and particularly if they do it in a way where they try to make him look bad, that won't go down well with us, because we love Mohamed Salah and he deserves to be treated with the utmost of respect no matter what happens. And I'm frustrated and I'm worried. Would I keep Shaqiri after this tournament? No. And it looks like Lazio, we spoke about this the other day, Lazio apparently close or very interested in a deal for Shaqiri, so keep an eye on that one. Well, no, we're still in the tournament now with Switzerland having them knocked out France. I can't believe I'm uttering those words, but yeah, what a performance from Switzerland. I'm surprised Liverpool aren't in for Kasper Dolberg. Liam, I was surprised when he left Ajax and went to Nice that Liverpool weren't interested in Dolberg, because he looks like a good talent. And the move from Ajax to Nice seemed a strange one to me at the time, because it doesn't really look like a step forward in his career, does it? But Dolberg, if somebody, there's a talent there, an undoubted talent there. Salah deserves his own statue, said D-Man. He deserves nothing but the height of respect, and he deserves to be treated with respect. And we pitch ourselves around the world as a family club and a club that does stuff in the right way. Well, this is an example of something that should be done in the right way. Either you give him a new contract, or we make it apparent that he's available. And, you front up to the fans on it, because there will be a backlash, because none of us want them to go. Opinions on Utz and Edward for Liverpool? It won't be happening, mate. I thought that he was going to end up at Leicester, by the way. But yeah, no, he won't be coming to Liverpool. What do you believe will happen with Naldini this summer? I think he'll move on. The two clubs linked to him have been Brighton and Burnley. And if I was him, I'd go running to Brighton, because even though his style of defending probably is more suited to Burnley, I wouldn't mind working on the Graham Potter if I was him. So yeah, I think maybe Nat Phillips, 12 to 15 million perhaps to another Premier League club. Feel bad for Mbappe, the amount of hate he's got. Football fans are fickle, mate. And look, Mbappe didn't have a great tournament. Fair enough, nobody can argue with that. And he missed a penalty, and I've always said I'll never hold anyone missing a penalty against them because it can happen to anyone. But still doesn't change the fact that he's a wonderful talent and, you know, will be a future Ballon d'Or winner probably multiple times. So that's the world of football that we live in. Unfortunately, people spew hate and venom when somebody probably needs an arm around the shoulder the most and, you know, needs to be reminded of how good he is. So, yeah, I won't be online giving him any abuse, I can tell you that. Should we protest outside Anfield against FSG? No, there's nothing happened yet. So, you know, it's a bit preemptive because we could, and when I say we, I more mean I could be reading this situation completely wrong. Maybe the media just don't know. But when there's enough journalists saying that there's been no indications that Liverpool are starting to open talks with Mohamed Salah, it's not a good look. It really isn't. What have we got? Get Fabinho on the... Get Fab on here. He was on THS. I couldn't be arsed giving Fabrizio Romano the money. What the fuck do I want to pay Fabrizio Romano to come on and tell me stuff I can read off his Twitter account? That baffles me, honestly. I will never, ever, ever pay that much money to get somebody onto a channel. Never. I refused it. Not a hope. Not happening. Just, so yeah, Fabrizio Romano ain't getting no wedge of cash out of me, I can promise you that one. If anyone's getting a wedge of cash out of me, it's fucking me. So if someone's going to start getting paid around here, it ain't going to be Fabrizio Romano on this channel. So yeah, why would I do that when I could just see his stuff on Twitter and get the opinions that he's putting out to the world anyway? Sorry, I don't want to disappoint you, but you won't be seeing him on here. At least not me paying him. That's not going to happen. Update on Renato Sanchez? There isn't any. There's no update on anyone. That's the truth of it. I'll come on for free. There you go, Keane. That's the spirit. That's the spirit, my man. Mate, I would pay you to come on. There you go, that boy. See, there you are. And it'd be far more reasonable as well. Do you know what I mean? Right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've gone through everything. How long have we been on tonight here? 47 minutes already. My God, time does fly. So, here's what's coming up over the next 24 or 48 hours. We will be doing the England game against Germany tomorrow. I will be live from 4:30, so, you know, feel free to come and join me for that one. Boyle Sports, of course, do have their fantastic €10 or £10 no-lose offer around the England game. So as I discussed with Leon earlier on from Boyle Sports, go over, stick it on any single market or any market on the England game. If it doesn't come up, Boyle Sports will refund you that bet as a tenner free bet in your account. So that is that. And then tomorrow night after the England game, I'll be on That's Football with Mark Goldbridge again to... I want to ask you a question before you go, so don't be running off yet. I have a quick question to ask you. Should I sign the thing? Should I? Should I sign the thing? Should I go onto That's Football? Should I grace That's Football on a permanent basis? Now, I want to be very clear. I won't be leaving Anfield agenda no matter what happens. But, you know, there isn't a conversation to be had of me going on That's Football regularly for next season. So, you know, I wanted to get your take on it. What have you got? It's coming home, said Dan. Somebody else. No, yes, nah, yes, no, yes. Sign it. Sign the thing, said Mark. Yes, but also no, said Liverpool. Yes. Sign the thing, sign it. Do you know what I will say is, they've been very kind to me, the audience, and That's Football when I've been on there. So, whatever makes you happy. There you go. Jamie, that's lovely, mate. Thank you. That's very kind of you, dude. Your Sayer says no. Yeah, I like it though. I've had fun on there, and I do think me and Mark are a good combo, and I do think we could do something special there. But you know, we'll wait and see. But I always want to take your feedback. So again, thank you for being honest, as you always are with me. I appreciate it. And look, it won't come down to money. People are saying if the money's right. It never comes down to money with me. Money's not the important factor. Vibes. It's all about vibes for me. I want to feel needed, I want to feel loved, and I want to feel like it's going to be fun. And I've been having a good time. I've enjoyed myself so far. Right, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in again. Don't forget tomorrow 4:30, and then I'll be on That's Football at 7:30. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video, look after yourselves, have a cracking evening, lots of love from my family to yours.